All right, so here are the top 5 winning products that are converting like crazy right now, all because of this new bridge product framework in 2025. It's going crazy. So you came here for these top 5 winning products, but before I get into this, I want to tell you something that no one else will. The real secret behind this is not the products, it's the framework behind these products. And now that you're watching, I'm actually not even going to give you 5 products. Instead, I'm going to give you the framework to find products like this every single time so that you can actually learn the skills to be successful in e-commerce. If I just gave you these 5 products, you'd be like, "Oh, great, let me run some ads for these and see how these work, blah 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 blah," and you have no idea why they actually work and how to pick these products. I get questions over and over and over again, and the same question is always, how do you find winning products? How do you find what's your product? Can I sell the same product you're selling? Blah blah blah. Like the one thing people are missing in this space is how to actually pick and find products. I'm not going to give you 5 products. Instead, I'm going to show you how to find products using this framework the legit way. Like, we're not going to be writing trends. We're not going to be doing any of that dumb stuff. How to actually find products that you can brand that uh, set yourself apart from the competition and ensure that you are going to get sales. Now, it's not a 100% guarantee, but if you use these frameworks, you're going to be testing a lot less products until you find one that actually gets you sales, okay? So, let's jump right into the framework. A bridge product does 2 things. It connects your customer from where they are now to who they want to become or where they want to be or do. So basically their desire. It's a transformation. This is like your marketing standpoint. You need something solve, okay? In another word, this is kind of like problem solving. So this isn't as important as the next thing, which is it bridges a gap in the market, something competitors have completely overlooked or don't care to solve. Now, this is the one of the things that I see like most people not doing is what they do instead is they see a product, maybe they see ads for it or whatever it may be, and they just copy the ads, they copy the product, copy the store. They don't change anything, and they don't realize that what they're doing is essentially just shooting themselves in the foot, right? Because in their mind, they're like, well, this store is getting tons of sales. Um, so if I just copy this store, I'm going to get sales too. That's not how this works. When you're creating an e-commerce brand, you need to do it better than the other brand, right? So you need to find a product that has a market gap that competitors are overlooking so that you can fill that gap. That's also known as creating your own blue ocean. If you guys have ever read the book The Blue Ocean Strategy, it's kind of the same thing, right? Finding a product with a market gap is the most important part, okay? And then if you can back that up with like some sort of desire, transformation, problem solving, whatever that may be, that's just your unique selling proposition and your marketing angles and stuff like that to tie into it. And if you don't believe me, this is the exact same thing that I did with my current product that I'm selling right now, that I've been selling for over a year, not just 3 or 4 months like most people in this space, and it's done almost $500,000 in sales. It's the same exact thing. When I found this product, it had a market gap, something that people were complaining about that the other competitors were not solving. What did I do? I positioned the entire brand around this gap, and that's what allowed me to set myself apart. So whenever they're like, hey, what's different with your product? Why not just buy from a competitor? I have my UVP, my unique selling proposition or unique value proposition in place so they know exactly why we are better. You can't just create a brand and fit in with all the rest and expect to get sales, okay? We're just going to jump into the whole thing here, step by step. But before I do, I want to show you real quick right here an example because I'm not the only one that's done this, okay? Other brands have done this too. And there's clear outliers with brands that are blowing up right now and people that are actually successful in this space, and they're all doing this framework, okay? So let's look at this example. The fitness supplement space was dominated by men's products. It's always been supplements designed for men or branded around men, right? Um, Men's bodies and all that stuff, and caffeine and pre-workout that contains way too much caffeine, which is something what men want, right? That's what men want. Um, and we have 2 sides of this. So we have, the kind of starter sort of pre-workout product that, people might go to, you might find it at your local store or whatever, has 150 milligrams of caffeine, not too much caffeine. It's just a starter product. It's not branded in any way. I mean, for the most part, it's targeted to men. Then on the other side of the spectrum, you have the crack pre-workout, right? 300 milligrams targeted specifically to men, as you can see in this branding, bucked up, take your workout to the next level. It's all gritty with its branding and manly. These are the two sides of the spectrum. Now, before I reveal this middle one, what do you think the gap is here? What what do you think the gap is between these two sides of this market, right? And there's probably more gaps, but this is the most prominent one, and one that's been filled recently. I'll give you a second. Type it down in the comments below. What do you think it is? And we'll see if you're right. All right. So let's see. The market gap is that was filled by Bloom is pre-workout and supplements designed specifically for women, right? The supplements have all kinds of nutrients and supplements inside of them that are specifically geared towards women, right? And the pre-workout that they sell doesn't have tons of caffeine in it because if you do some research, you'll see that women do not want to take 300 milligrams of caffeine usually, right? This brand noticed that. They created their product and they filled a market gap, and they're $1 million brand right now. This is what I'm talking about. And it's not like they just created a product that fits women, right? They created their entire brand, their brand colors, their brand imagery, their designs, their products, everything to fit specifically women so that it's a clear no-brainer who to choose if you're a woman, right? If you're, in this market and you see two sides, you see this regular basic pre-workout that's just catered to anyone, and then you see bucked up, which is gritty, manly pre-workout, and then you see here it's like, oh, here's a pre-workout made specifically for you because you're a woman, and the entire design fits that sort of demographic. Of course, you're going to buy from Bloom instead. This is what we're doing, and this is what we're trying to do when we use this framework. So basically now what I'm going to do is put it into action, okay? Because, now that you understand, of course, you need to understand how to actually find the product and do this in real time, right? So let me just delete this, okay? And we're going to do that now. So step one is actually finding the product, okay? Because if you can't find the product in the first place, then you can't really even apply what I'm about to talk about. So finding the product, and a lot of people make this a lot harder than it really needs to be. All you're doing when you're first starting to find a product is getting ideas. Write down ideas. You could literally start out by thinking in your head right now, what are some products that I buy right now, and what are some problems I have with them? What are some issues I have that I wish a product would solve? What are some things that I've experienced in the product space that was interesting to me? Things like that, you could start there with your own life. That's kind of how I get most of my product ideas, is just thinking about things that I could use in my life. Because if you can use it yourself, other people will likely use it as well, and there's probably a market for it, okay? Then you have Alibaba. Now, Alibaba, you're always going to be checking Alibaba, whether you use these other sites or not. Alibaba is kind of like your way to cross-check and make sure that the product can be sourced in China. You can also find products on Alibaba. Just searching on there, you can see, how much volume the factories are doing of that product to get an idea of how much it's selling. And I'll show you that in a second. Then you have TikTok. Of course, we all know TikTok. You guys have all probably used it. Just scroll on TikTok, engage with ads and stuff like that, and you'll eventually start getting ads of products coming your way, right? Very simple. I mean, it's not hard to do, okay? Next thing is ads. So this kind of ties in with TikTok. So when you're engaging with, you could even search on Google and see brands that are selling different products and get ideas for products on Google. You'll start getting ads for them. You'll get ads for them on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever platforms you use, YouTube. And this will continue to funnel more ideas to you on things that you can sell, okay? Then you have Amazon. Amazon, you can literally see how many orders are being placed on a product within the last month. You can also see what people are talking about that product, all right? Amazon's a great way to find products, and literally every single product you're ever going to sell is going to typically already be on Amazon unless you're custom manufacturing something, okay? So you're always going to be using Amazon um, to find products. I mean, you can cross-check it, whatever. But Amazon is a great place. And one thing I want to get in your head right now is that yes, it may seem like you're just seeing the same products over and over again, or that, there's no products that you can find, but literally, there are hundreds of thousands of products that you have never even seen before, and you just need to happen to stumble across them. And the best way to stumble across them is by continuously doing research and getting targeted by ads and looking, right? Even to this day, I've been drop shipping in e-commerce for the past 10 years, and every single day I'm constantly seeing new products that I've never seen before. Yes, I do see products occasionally, time to time, that are saturated, that everyone sells, that I've been seeing for the past 10 years, but there's still products that come through that I've never seen before. And you just need to be creative and have that innovative mindset, okay? Then there's Etsy. So Etsy is one that I see a lot of people don't use, but like Etsy is a great place to get ideas for products, especially like custom made items. A lot of people love custom made items. Um, and you can just get tons and tons of ideas for products in here, creating gift box kits and personalized items and furniture or whatever that may be. For the most part, you can find really good ideas on here. Now, don't worry about sourcing it yet. Just get ideas, okay? You can figure out how to source it later if you're selling it, all right? So just get ideas first. You can source it later and figure that out. But like, there's so many product ideas you can get on Etsy. And finally, the last one is just looking on marketplaces where people are listing their store for sale. Okay, this is one I've seen nobody do. All right, you can literally go on Flippa right here. Flippa is one of the many marketplaces where people list stores for sale. You can go to the Shopify tab right here, or any e-commerce tab, right? And you may have to pay for a plan. It's like $40 a month or whatever. Um, and you can literally scroll through here and see stores that people are selling that are already making money. Like these are validated websites. The funds that they're getting, the revenue that they're generating is already validated. All you have to do is click sign NDA. You have to have a paid plan for this, of course, but sign the NDA and you can literally see what they're selling or get an idea. So these guys are selling cozy fleece socks, lifestyle in the pet industry. And you're just going to look at them and get ideas because, just because the brand is being sold doesn't mean it's not a good idea. There's likely a huge gap in the market that they're selling in that you could take over and build a brand around, okay? I wouldn't just go in here and rip the store and copy it. You want to go in, get ideas of what's working, and innovate on it, okay? So those are ways that you find a product, right? And I already did this, okay? I did this ahead of time to try to find a product, um, just so I'm not sitting here for an hour video trying to find a product on here. So I already did some research and kind of found something that we can kind of look at together. Again, I'm going to say this again because I know a lot of people that are watching this are going to do this. If your plan is to just copy this product to a T and just try to sell it just because I used it in this video and I said it's a good idea, you're completely missing the point of this video and you're likely not going to get any success in this space, okay? The people that are watching this that actually listen to what I'm saying and put it into action to find their own product and learn this skill of finding products are the ones that are going to reap the benefits. Because once you learn this skill, you could be on Instagram scrolling and all of a sudden you get an ad for a product and you'll instantly understand how to make the product better and build a better brand around it. That's kind of like the point you get at once you get really good at this. Okay, so the product that we're looking at, I just recently traveled to the Philippines and Asia, and just a little bit in Asia. I had a layover there. And one thing you'll notice in Asia and the Philippines is there's bidets everywhere, specifically in Asia. I was in Hong Kong and South Korea, right? And there's bidets everywhere. But one thing you notice is when you get to America, there's no bidets, okay? There's a clear, it's crystal clear that bidets are very useful because if they were not, people would not be using them in Asia. For some reason, they haven't been implemented in the United States as much. So right there, just there is a big gap in a market, right? But it's already but it's already being filled by brands, so we can't use that market gap. We need to find another market gap within this market. But we're going to be looking at bidet attachments. So if we go in here onto Amazon, right, and we scroll through here, and we can see how much volume in bidets are being sold right here, right? Like we've got this one has 7,000 orders in the past month, 1,000 orders, 100 orders, 1,000 orders. Of course, these are very cheap options, but we're going to get into that in a second. But as you can see, there's more expensive ones, and they're still being sold, right? Um, so we have our product idea right here, okay? So now let's look at how we need to validate this product. So we're gonna just scroll down here, steps to validating, right? So we're in step 2 now. Let's look at the first step. Are there competitor brands that are running paid ads for this product? So very simple. All we're gonna do is go to bidet attachment on Google, right? And we're going to find actual brands. We're not going to look at drop shipping stores or AliExpress or Amazon. We're looking at actual brands. And if we look at actual brands, we see Brondel, we see Squatty Potty, we see Tushy. The ones I'm looking at are the ones that have a lot of reviews on them typically. We have Fanny. We have build.com, but I already clicked on build.com and it's more of like a Walmart marketplace, so I'm not going to look at that. We're looking at brands that are branded specifically around bidet attachments, okay? Tushy. And remember in the beginning of the video, or before, I talked about you're going down the rabbit hole of products. This is exactly what I mean, because when I search for a bidet attachment, we have a totally new idea for a product right here. Shower infusion attachment kits. Okay, so I just wanted to look at this to kind of nail this home. I went on Amazon to just see what these are all about. There are actual infusion kits that you can install on your shower head. It goes between the shower head and the plumbing hole that comes out of the wall, whatever you, I don't know what you call it, but you screw that in, right? And it basically infuses the water with scents and oils or whatever it may be. Here's a totally new idea for you to dive into. This is what I mean by going down the rabbit hole. There's so many products out here in the world that you've never seen before, right? Here's a new idea for a brand, but we're just going to skip that. So we're looking at, are there competitor brands that are running paid? We're going to focus on the bidet, right? So all I'm doing is opening up all these brands right here. So I have them open. So I have Tushy. No, I do not want a discount, but whatever. Okay, so we have Tushy here. They're selling for $129, so keep that in mind. We have Fanny here selling for $88. We have Squatty Potty selling for $50. We have Brondel selling for $60. So we have 4 brands here. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is make sure they're running paid ads. The reason we want to make sure that they're running paid ads is because our strategy is running paid ads. So we don't want to launch a product and not understand what their marketing strategies are. I made this mistake before. I talked about it in my previous videos of documenting my journey. You can go all the way back to before I made sales with my current store. The past store that I tried to launch, it failed because I didn't realize that the product that was being sold, it was selling really well, but the reason it was selling well is because those brands ranked perfectly on Google SEO, which means 90% of their traffic was organic, which allowed them to sell a lower ticket product easily because they weren't covering paid ads. We, on the other hand, are using paid ads because we don't have the time and the funds to put into SEO. So we want to make sure that the people that are in brands that are running this product are able to run this product profitably with paid ads. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to the ad library. We're just going to go to all ads in the US and we're going to type in Tushy. All right, here's the first one. And all we're looking for is to see if they have tons of ads running. They have 45 ads running, lots of active ads. So what this tells me is that they are making enough money from their sales to afford ads. So there's one good sign. Now we're going to look at the next one, which is Fanny Bidet. Let's just see. If you can't find them on the ad library, sometimes you'll have to go to the bottom and see if they have Facebook anywhere. I don't see it, and I don't want to spend too much time looking into this, but you should be able to find this brand and see it. But we're just going to skip to the next one. Squatty Potty. Let's look at this one. Squatty Potty. Okay, boom. This one has way more followers than Tushy, but they're not running any ads. So what you'd want to do is you'd want to look into this brand more. You can use SimilarWeb and other tools to get a better idea of where they are doing most of their traffic from. Who knows, they may be running TikTok ads, okay? But you want to get a clear understanding of where they're advertising at because for the most part, you're either going to be using TikTok or Facebook, and you want to make sure that there's brands successfully running ads on those platforms of the product. Now let's look at Brondel as the last one. But right away, like we see Tushy's running ads, so we should be fine. It's this one right here. Okay, so Brondel's not running ads either. Tushy is running ads, so you can kind of look at this as a good and bad. The good side is there is one brand running ads, and this could mean that there's a lot of opportunity for a really good bidet brand to take over if you're really good at paid ads because these other brands are not utilizing it, okay? And we see one brand utilizing it, right? I could almost guarantee you the reason why they're not using it and Tushy is because look at the price difference, right? $88. It's not a bad price, but they're probably getting the product for like $30 to $40 maybe, which means their markup is only 2x and they probably can't afford paid ads, right? Same thing with this one. It's 50 bucks. There's no way they're affording paid ads unless their average order value is way over 50 bucks. Same thing with this one, 60 bucks. These are all lower ticket bidets, right? Whereas Tushy is selling for $129, okay? And they're doing very well. I mean, if you just go to Tushy here, they have 9,000 reviews. They're also selling on Amazon, so we know what they're doing is working, all right? But we can see here, they're likely running paid ads because they have a higher ticket product, which moves us to the next point. So this is a check. Competitors are running paid ads. There's one competitor doing it. Is there a market gap? So this is the most important part is we need to find a gap in the market. Now the easiest way to do this is to either just be creative and innovative. So right off the bat when I look at this, what is one way you could improve this is by having some sort of aroma infuser inside of the bidet so when you're done using it, it doesn't smell like poop in the bathroom, right? So you have that added bonus of cleaning, but it also smells good, okay? So right there is kind of a market gap that you can fill. But I understand that some people may not be able to see that right away. I've been doing this for a while. So how do you find a market gap? The best way to do this is to just go to Amazon, go to a lot of the products, and look at there's aroma right here. So I mean, it's a thing. But anyways, you go to some of these products, right? So let's just click this one. You go to reviews. Oops. Okay. And you want to look at the bad reviews. You want to look at the 1 and 3-star reviews. So we're just going to go back. I don't know why it reloaded. You're going to go in here and all you're going to do is copy all of these reviews, okay? Just copy a bunch of them. You could even go to these brands like Tushy, go to Trustpilot, or try to find bad reviews of the brands themselves. Copy all the reviews, and you are going to go over to ChatGPT. This makes it so much easier now that there's AI. And you're literally going to paste in all of the reviews that you've copied, which is basically all of the negative reviews. All these people are talking about things that they wish the product did that it does not do. That's how you find a market gap, right? And all you're going to put at the top is just say, I'll show you what I put. I want to sell a bidet attachment for toilets. There are other brands doing well, but I want to find a gap in the market, something they are not doing that I can do to stand out. I'm going to paste a bunch of negative reviews and I want you to identify the gap, okay? And all these negative reviews are going to be compiled, and ChatGPT will tell you some key market gaps that you could look at filling and solving, right? So leaks and low durability, there's constant leaks and cracking. The spray adjustment sucks, so it doesn't spray in the right areas. Poor fit on toilets, so it does not fit many seats. So a lot of people are having issues with fitment because it's a universal fit. So maybe there's some way to improve this. Nozzle malfunctions, controls, bad instructions, self-clean function is useless. So when I put this in, this was immediately an easy way to stand out right here, right? Sprays into the toilet, not the nozzle. How do you solve a self-cleaning function? By adding a true nozzle rinse cycle with directed spray, a UV nozzle light, so it sanitizes the toilet and stays clean after using it. This right here is a UVP that will make you stand out because, I mean, if we look at all these right here, there's no UV light on here, okay? No UVs. It's just a simple bidet attachment, okay? Which this is how you stand out. And it even told us, final positioning, the only bidet built for real life. Leak proof, always hits the target, fits every toilet, installs in 10 minutes, actually cleans itself, safe for guests, kids, and grandparents. Just like that, you found a market gap and you filled it with ChatGPT, right? Right here, if you were to build a brand like this, with this right here in mind, right? You would be standing out from the competition as long as you double down on this messaging here and make sure it's crystal clear in your ads, in your storefront, and everything that this is what you're doing. This is what you're solving because other bidet brands are not solving this and they suck, right? This is how you stand out, okay? So we're going to go to the next one. We know there's a market gap. All right, we found it. We found the gap that we want to fill. Okay. The next thing is there a clear UVP in this gap? Well, yeah, the clear UVP, unique value proposition, I keep messing that up, is that bidets on the market right now, bidet attachments, aren't very good. They miss their target. They do not clean very well. They do not clean themselves. There's fitment issues. There's a lot of issues with it. So this right here, the only bidet built for real life is the unique value proposition right there. So boom, check, right? Now we're going to go to the next thing. Are the margins good enough for paid ads, right? So what do we know? We know that there's a brand successfully selling these bidet attachments for $129. This is their low ticket model. We can go on further and see that there is electric heated seats that could even be installed, right? So there's a lot of room here for high ticket sales if you handle it properly, right? If you just do something basic like this, you're only going to be able to sell it for $88. Okay, that's not what you want to do. You don't want to list something for 40 bucks or 50 bucks or whatever. Your margin's going to be too small. What you want to do is create a lot of value around the product so that you can sell it for more, right? Now, I can already hear it. People are going to ask, well, Jesse, how are you going to be able to sell this for more money if people can just go to Fanny or Squatty Potty or Brondle or Amazon and get it for 50 bucks? If you're asking that question, then you completely missed the whole point of this video and you need to go back and rewatch it. Because the reason we're able to sell it more is because of the market gap we're filling, how we're branding around it, and the UVP that we're putting around it. That's why. So are the margins good enough for paid ads? Well, if we look at Alibaba here, we can see here, again, we can see that there's quite a lot of volume being sold. We can see that we can probably get it um, for, I mean, if we're doing bulk orders and ordering it in bulk, we could probably get them for maybe 20 bucks. Um, let's say we're drop shipping it, like this one right here is 2 pieces and they're only 10 bucks. Let's just say with the additions that we're adding and everything, we could get this for around 30 to 40 bucks. Okay, let's just put a number average right there, right? Tushy is selling theirs for 129. This is one temperature, so that means cold. Dual temperature, meaning warm, is $149. So if we're getting the item for $30 or $40 and we're selling it for $149, that markup is perfect. All right, that's over a 2x. I'd recommend, unless you're selling a very high ticket product like a $500 item or something, you want to be around a 2 to you want to be at least a 2x markup. Ideally 3 to 4. If you're at a 3 to 4 markup, you have plenty of profit to be able to run ads, okay? And you're not going to be stressed when ads are running and you're not getting sales because you have that markup. You could run ads for 2 to 3 days straight and not get a sale and still make that money back pretty easily because of your profit margins, right? So, that right there is a check, okay? Next, we're looking at, can I make content for it? This is very important because you have two options here. You have either you order the product yourself and film content yourself, right? Or you hire influencers and pay extra money up front to have them film content. Okay. And you need to weigh out which one you want to do. Um, if you do not have a big budget to launch a store to pay influencers to film content for you, which could be $100 to $200 per influencer, including shipping the product to them for free, then you need to make sure that you can film content for this product or at least have someone around you that you could work with to film content for this product, okay? Because we're not stealing content online, okay? It doesn't work. It's never worked for me stealing content online. The current brand that I'm running, I did not steal any content online. I filmed every piece of the ads myself, okay? So, you want to make sure that you can film content for it. If you're trying to sell a baby item, right, because it's viral and it looks like it's going to do well, but you do not have a baby yourself and you cannot film content for it, you're going to have a lot of issues and you're going to need to spend a lot more money up front to film content and hire influencers. So this is really important. You can choose how you want to do this yourself based on your budget, but I'm assuming most of you guys that are watching this are not going to be starting with big budgets, so you want to make sure that you would be able to film the content yourself of that product, right? This is a bidet. I could order the bidet and film content myself pretty easily. It's not really something that'd be difficult, so we're going to be good to go there, all right? The next thing, are there complementary products? This is important for scaling because you're going to reach a point where you're selling one product and you're going to start reaching a cap where you need to start implementing other products to raise the average order value, to continue to bring people back and reconvert them. That's how you build a brand, okay? And that's something I've learned recently with my store is I started with one product, it did really well, it's still doing well, okay? Now I'm getting to the point where so many people are just buying one time and leaving, right? They're not buying again because it's a product that um, I just sold one product. I didn't have any complementary products to continue scaling the brand. $1 million brands that are around for years have a bunch of complementary products to go with it so that they can continuously bring people back and continue to sell them, right? So let's look at this. Can we sell complementary products with this? Um, obviously. So right here we have a travel bidet, so we could sell something like that. A stool that helps you poop. Um, let's look at what other products they have. They have the more high ticket products, which is the bidet seat. They have candles. and bathroom sprays and toilet sprays, so they're kind of merging into a toilet brand. You could even go one step further, and if you do, for example, the bidet that has infused scents in it, you can create a subscription where they get the scents every single month. That creates repeat buyers because the scents they're going to use up, they're going to need to rebuy them over and again. So, are there complementary products for this? Yes, so that's perfect. And last but not least, high enough market cap. Okay, this is important too because especially when you're selling one product at the beginning, you want to make sure the market cap is high enough for you to sell for the long term, right? You do not want to sell a product that has maybe 1,000 people that would buy it, right? Because you're going to run ads and you're going to reach those 1,000 people in a few weeks and you're going to run into problems, right? You want to have a product that you can sell that reaches a wide market, okay? I don't mean it has to reach everybody and everybody can use it, right? But your market needs to be big. And for this, a bidet attachment, for the most part, everybody uses a toilet. I mean, I don't even know why I said for the most part. Everyone uses a toilet. Will everyone use a bidet, and is everyone in the market to spend $150 on a bidet? Probably not. So the market is a little bit smaller than everyone that uses a toilet. But I would argue that the market is definitely big enough to be able to scale a product like this. And I mean, it shows. Like, I mean, I've seen Tushy around for a while, um, and they're still running ads. They're still doing well. So they've been around for a while. So there is a good market cap. Um, so those are all the metrics I look at. And if you follow this, it's going to take some practice, but you'll be able to find products that work for you as well all the time. Okay? And this is going to give you a better shot of creating a store that actually has success versus jumping on a viral trend and crossing your fingers and hoping it works. Okay? Blending in with the market, not standing out. That's not how you build a brand or a business. All right? So, this is exactly what I did for my product. That's almost at a $500,000 in sales. I literally landed on all of these things. Are there competitor brands running ads around the product that I'm selling right now? Yes, there's a lot of them. Okay, and some of them are even running 500 ads at a time. Is there a market gap? Yes, there was a huge problem with the competitors that they were not solving. Okay, there's a bunch of bad reviews. Actually, my market and the product that I'm selling is majority bad reviews with the competitors, right? So I had a clear market gap that I could fill. Is there a UVP in this gap? Yes. The gap that I'm filling has a clear UVP that I can market and advertise, and that's what's been working. Are the margins good enough for paid ads? My product sells for $400 average order value. Um, and I get the product. I mean, it's a little expensive right now with tariffs, and because it's a custom item, and that I mean, I can't bulk order it or anything like that. That's a whole story. You can watch my other videos on that. I'm at about a 2.5x markup, so it's not great, but it still works because it's a $500 product. So, but ideally, I'd want to be at a 3x. But yes, the margins are good enough for paid ads. Can I make content for it? Yes, I filmed all the content for it. Um, I mean, I even bought a truck to be able to film more content with it. There's a little hint right there for you. Um, are there complementary products? Yes, I started implementing this recently, adding more product lines to it so that people can come back and purchase more. It hasn't fully taken into effect yet. Like my repeat purchase rate is still at like 3% or 4%, so it's really low, and that's what's really affecting the business. But yes, there are complementary products. I just haven't leaned into that side yet. I'm still kind of trying to optimize the main product still. But yes. And is there a high enough market cap? Yes, every single person could use the product that I'm selling, even you. So, yeah, the market cap is high enough. Um, Now, that's been a long video. I thought it would actually be a lot quicker of a video to film. It's been 44 minutes. But this is how you should be looking at products and finding products. Um, And if you do this, I promise you, it may not work for every single product. Yes, it's a lot more work, but you're going to have a higher chance of seeing success. Go through this process of finding the product. You technically do not even worry about sourcing yet until you find the product and the idea. Figure out how to source it, get a sample, film content for it, launch, and figure it out. Start your business. All right. All of us on the internet doing YouTube and dropshipping and e-commerce, we're all figuring it out as we go. So that's the video. I hope you got some value from this. And I also want to say thank you guys for 500 subscribers. Absolutely crazy. Um, never had that many subscribers, even though it's not a lot. But thank you guys for the support. And I hope you guys continue to get value from these videos. And yeah.